Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. Live from the Den, Legacy Internet Radio. Thank y'all to everybody who has been rocking with us tonight. We are having an outstanding conversation with the brothers and sisters from the nation of gods and earths. We are getting a nice introductory. We're learning a whole lot about who God is, who earth is, who is 5%, who is 10%, who is 85%. So we're learning a lot about that. And I want to transition a little bit into some other stuff that may or may not be specific to the nation of gods and earths, the 5%ers. But I'd like to know your perspective on it. Before, one more time, I forgot to turn your mic on. Say it again, brother.
The New York Giants is the best football team.
Well, yeah, we're on a 4 or 5 game winning streak. As long as they keep on doing that, we will be the best football team. We certainly better than the team that's 9 in New York Giants. So they 9 in New York Giants. So they can talk all they want, but they still 9 in New York Giants. So
yeah, we put that chink in the armor.
We put the chink in the armor. They don't even deserve me saying their name on the show. Ain't no hashtag on Marcus J. Live from the Den, Legacy in that radio. All right, we left the last segment with a question that I thought that would probably be a bit controversial because I think it is. We talked about the big head man, Yacob, and we talked about the grafting of the white man and how he was. And now, when we look at how the world is now, one would argue that they are in a position of dominance. One would argue. Now, I personally don't see it that way because I see the world bigger than just money and finances. But for the purpose of argument, I do think that we would be irresponsible if we didn't address that. And so, true, jump in here. Black man created the white man, but the white man dominates. How does that happen?
We gave him an opportunity to rule. He had an opportunity to rule for 6,000 years, and we've given him this chance. You know what I'm saying? For one, we taught him everything he knows, and with that which we gave him, the one third of knowledge that we gave him, he was able to rock the world asleep. And in order for him to rule, he had to rock the world asleep. So he rocked us to sleep, and as we went to sleep, we lost the knowledge of ourselves. So, of course, he would be in a position of so-called dominance. This is the warmonger himself. When he came out of those caves and hills, he came for blood, as they do now. When you even study Greek and Roman history, the most fascinating things that you hear about it is war, right? It's always war, always war, always war, always war. They didn't even respect their philosophers, so they didn't even respect thought. They killed their philosophers, who also got their knowledge from the teachers in Kemet. So as we taught them, we taught them how to rule for 6,000 years. They're ruling. They're slowly losing their power because their rule was up in 1914, which is very significant.
Isn't that around the time Master Farad came here?
Around 1910 originally, and then as he spent
what was
some time,
1930? That was
1930 was when Elijah Muhammad,
Okay.
When he met with Elijah Muhammad, and Elijah Muhammad began to study with him for 3.5 years.
Right. I knew that 30.
But that 1914 is very significant as well. That's during the time of World War I, right?
Absolutely.
So now we have the heads of all of these white nations, whom are all brothers, fighting. That began their decline of their rule. So his civilization was beginning to end and beginning to fall. 1914 was their expiration date.
We getting hit. My brother Mike is checking us out right here in the cap. Peace to you, brother. Hope to see you here in your home real soon. Lawrence is checking back in. It's the brother that's been calling. He said, why would we give him knowledge to kill us?
Everyone had an opportunity. Let the earth speak too as well,
Yeah, I saw you going for the mic, sister. Yeah. Nah, this cool. Nah, it's your home. So speak.
You know, part of being civilized is teaching civilization. And so, you know, we, in being civilized and giving everybody the equal opportunity, you know, to have knowledge, you know, and knowledge of themselves, you know. So if we kept it to ourselves, then we would be 10%ers. You know what I'm saying? If we kept it amongst ourselves and didn't share it and didn't give it, then, you know, we would be 10%ers, you know. We dealt in equality, you know, and in sharing what we knew, you know. If you're confident, you know, if you're the owner of it, you know,
Right.
you're the maker and the owner of it, you're confident in it, you know.
One would argue even at the detriment of our current plight and position?
It had to be done. We were champions without a challenger.
Absolutely, and it's one of those things of, you know, not appreciating your power until you have an opponent, so to speak. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, there lies the opponent. You know.
The folks in
So to
social media are not really buying into this piece of the conversation. Tiffany says we gave them the rule over us. Maybe she missed something. Lauren says it proved to be foolish. And actually, Juan is just saying hotep to the people. So anybody want to address?
Peace. How I see it is this. You didn't purposely give them the rule. You know what I mean? Like, you know, here, rule us. You know what I mean? The devil, the Caucasian people dealt with trick knowledge. You know what I mean? So what we gave them was to help them clean themselves up, which originally what happened. You know what I mean? There was a period of time that, you know, I'm going to call pre-racism or pre-white supremacy, when it was a point where they actually worshipped, you know what I mean, us as deities. You know what I mean? So this point of, and a lot of it has to, you have to do your own research, you know what I mean? But I'm gonna keep it brief because it could be real lengthy. But there was a point where they went into a stage of dark ages, and I'm saying ages plural because it was multiple dark ages, where they were cut off from economic, commerce, so forth and so on of the world. You know what I mean? So they came into an ideology of, okay, we need to control the masses of the people. You know what I mean? So they came out in a three-part approach of the original people of the planet Earth. The first were the missionaries. You know what I'm saying? The missionaries came, and this was basically to soften up. And missionaries meaning, you know what I'm saying, coming with their religion, their mindset, the ideologies, their belief system, things of that nature. Then came the merchants, coming to sell, trade with the people, and then came the military. You know what I'm saying? So the whole thing of conquering people is to conquer people is divide them. I mean, to cause a rift, to cause a confusion amongst the people, to make them weaker, for them we can come in and infiltrate. So a lot of times, situations like in Africa, India, and everywhere they went, but I must focus on Africa, was when, you know, they would come in and say, okay, look, y'all at war. Let me give you some guns, you know, and you sell us your a few of your, because I know it's going to come up too, Africans or black people selling each other. I mean, yeah, slavery existed, but nothing to the degree of slavery that happened, especially in this country. You know what I'm saying? And what I mean by that is this. They came with a trick saying that, okay, you sell guns, we want to sell you guns with the trade of your people, and vice versa. But they're not understanding that trade or that or this exchange was a more in-depth agenda with it. See what I'm saying? So with all these different, it's a long line of situations that led to this. Basically, what I'm saying, you know what I mean? It's a long line of situations that happened with this, but it wasn't but basically when I'm looking at the comments, when I'm hearing the comments, is saying like, you know, we personally like, you know, here rule us. Nah, that wasn't the case.
I think what we end up doing, I think I mentioned this. I don't know if I said this during a break or not, but I think oftentimes we hold what we don't know to a higher standard. Here's what I mean by that. You know, the next comment is, who taught them trick knowledge, right? My response to that is, if you have children and you're the father and the mother and you do the best you can with your children, but then you raise children who do not perform to the standard of which you taught them, you can be held accountable, yeah. But at the end of the day, the children did what the children did. And so I understand the question. It's almost, I would almost kind of classify it as a trap question, though, because it almost seems like you're trying to put them in a corner. And I respect that. I understand that because, you know, I used to be that way. You know, now I'm more likely to look at it a little bit more holistically because I'm understanding the concept. If we take everything so literally, then you get lost in the entire understanding. Mm-hmm. And then you're you know, the wisdom is lost at that point. We're getting a hit from Rise Up, says pre-colonialism, equality. Shabazz says it's not like we don't do foolish things. Think of it like the yin and the yang, negative and positive, God and devil. Brother?
Peace. You know, when I teach, you know, I want people to pay attention to everything I say. Every word is a key word to unlock understanding. You know what I mean? The root of it to me, you know, I don't think that's a trap question, is why I'm saying that. Who taught them devilishment? Who taught them trick knowledge? Yacob taught them trick knowledge. He gave birth to them with the idea for them to rule over us for 6,000 years. You know what I'm saying? Yacob never lived to see this happen. So therefore, Yacob became a mentality. Through his doctors, nurses, ministers, and cremators, Yacob became a society that birthed the devil, that birthed devilishment, you know? This is what put us to sleep. You know what I'm saying? You know, to really go before Yacob, we got to talk about the people that gave birth to Yacob, which was a dissatisfied population. It was the people who desired change but wasn't creating the change. They wasn't doing the things necessary for their own growth and development. They were dissatisfied people. Rulers of the planet, but a dissatisfied people. This is a certain type of people, not all people. This type of people brought forth Yacob. You know what I'm saying? Now, when Yacob was born, he saw the difference between a satisfied mentality and a dissatisfied mentality. The lifestyles are different. You know what I mean? What his idea was to make a devil. He saw within the black man something that we didn't see within ourselves. But Yacob was a black man too. Understand this. You know what I'm saying? So therefore, the only one who could bring forth something like this into this universe, it would be another black man, which was Yacob, a scientist. But he was responsible for teaching the devil to do this devilishment. Now, once this devil was birthed, and you already had a society of Yacob's doctors, nurses, ministers, and cremators, now you had a thinking that was in place. And now, like you said, going to the children. Now the children are living out what the father had taught them, and he taught them to do what? Devilishment. He taught them how to lie, steal, all these things that you just mentioned. These are the things that you know, this is what you teach to your children. Your children are going to do the same thing. You know what I mean? The rulership, the rulership over our people, it put us to sleep. It put us to sleep in the sense of when we ran the devil out of the holy city of Mecca in the year 9000 in the Asiatic world. We ran the devil out of the holy city of Mecca, and that's when he found a home in the Caucasus Mountains in Europe. You know what I'm saying? And what happened then? What happened then is that the devil wasn't ran out the minds of the people in the holy city of Mecca. Now this devil has, because the definition of devil means that it doesn't just affect itself, it affects others. You know what I'm saying? So that devilishment affect the others. It caused others to fight and kill one another. So even though the devil was bottled up in West Asia, he was beginning to live throughout the people, throughout the original people of the holy city of Mecca. This is when it wasn't holy no more. Holy means something that's not diluted, mixed, or tampered with in any form. But now it has been. Because now the people are learning how to lie, steal, hurt each other. You don't just get over a killing. You know what I mean? After a war, it just ain't over like that. You know what I mean? We went to sleep. You know what I'm saying? We went to sleep. You know what I'm saying? And we only went to sleep for a limited time. 6,000 years is only representing a limitation of 6. You know what I mean? Just like the God, illustrated earlier that we was given an identity. We was given a religion. We was stripped of our identity. We lost our way of life. You know what I mean? See, knowledge itself is only intelligence. Mathematics is the science and the law and order of the you and the universe. See, once things continue to happen, like what we're witnessing today, things that continue to happen, it's starting not to make sense. See what I'm saying? So that limitation of ruling over us is over. Now, his rule is over when you get the knowledge of yourself and you take back your own mind. He don't dominate over me no more. The devil's civilization time has expired with me. But it's clear and obvious that over the still masses of people, he still has them as a slave to a mental death and power, his power. So his time is up. You know what I'm saying? His time is up, and our time is now.
That actually moves me to the next piece of what I want to talk about. And if his time is up, what do we do and how do we do it? We're talking about group economics and community building. One of the things that's real big with me, with Legacy Internet Radio, when I founded it, the first thing that I came to the understanding of is independence. Because it is, in fact, the key to building your own legacy. You have to be able to be your own man and your own woman in the lady's case. And how do you do that if you don't build with other like-minded brothers and sisters? And it seems to me that we in our community have a difficult time doing that. There's socio-economical reasons for it. There's, quite frankly, some brainwash reasons for it, some historical reasons for it. But I want to talk about what you guys think about that as far as solutions, as far as what can be done. So the phrase group economics and community building, I'm so glad, True, that you brought that phrase group economics, because I've been talking about that since I founded Legacy Internet Radio. So jump in here, True. Group economics and community building, what are we doing? And how can we do it?
Well, first of all, we have to deal with coming together. It can't take place unless we start coming together and building a trust, walking miles together, like your brand, Legacy Internet Radio. I support your brand, brother, you know what I mean? And, other things, there are other black businesses in our communities, but we have been brainwashed to think that because it comes from a black person or it's a black store, that their items is not as good as I can get from, a major corporation or a major company. Theirs is better. That brings me to what, some older, folks used to say, our elders in our community they used to have the thinking that the black doctor doesn't know what he's talking about.
Oh, yeah.
The white doctor is right. And that's another thing that led to our destruction, trusting these white doctors. The Tuskegee experiment, that was perpetrated by white doctors on black men. But we trust what the doctors say. We trust what this Caucasian doctor says because he has our best interests. But our brothers and sisters that look just like us, we think that they're out to get us. They don't have our best interests in heart. That's the brainwashing, and we got to eliminate that thinking, you know what I'm saying, and get with, our children and raise them in a way that they start to see the unity, so that they can start coming together. Because, frankly, right now, trusting one another, the things that have been implanted in our minds, but, the earth, you wanted to add on it?
No, we got a caller.
You got a call? Okay.
Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, Marcus, what's going on? This is Bobby McIntosh, man. What's up?
What's up, Bobby?
How you doing, bro?
I'm good, brother. Thanks for checking us out. We saw you in there in the Facebook Live, and I appreciate you calling us up, brother. What you want to get in on?
Well, look, I'm quite familiar with the 5%ers from being raised up in New York. I know a little history about them. But I want to find out, with all this stuff with the KKK doing a parade December 3rd in North Carolina, okay, what are black organizations like the 5%ers, Nation of Islam? I think there's some Black Panther movement stuff starting to get back into full swing because of all the racial divide. What are the 5%ers going to do? How are they going to help, minorities or even help blacks, okay, in this time? Or is it just going to be about, their 5%? Okay, that's what I want to know.
Anybody?
Peace, brother. What are we going to do? We're going to do what we've been doing, and that's teaching, the knowledge of our culture, which is Islam, our self-Lord and Master. What are we doing? We're teaching our young, we're teaching our women, we're teaching them our culture, we're teaching them our history. We are enlightening them with the knowledge of who and what is God, which was introduced to us by our Father Allah. When Farah taught Elijah, right, that was the beginning. That was the awakening of the black people, of who and what or their culture really was. That was the beginning. And then in 1964, when the Father Allah came, right, that was the best part. That was the cream rising to the top. Whereas he went to the streets of Harlem and he started teaching the young. He didn't go to the old. He started teaching the young because he knew that the young was the future, right? And that's where we begin. We begin with teaching our children at home, teaching our women and our children. That's where we begin, and then we go out into the community. The guards here in Richmond, we are indulging in the grassroots of Richmond. We attend events, the People's Congress, right? We are affiliated with, we have been affiliated with a Legba Folk Society, right? On 2nd and Broad, First and Broad. We have a sister here that we are affiliated with, the Defender, right? Which is a free public press. Me and some of the guards here, we have attended rallies and protests within the past 2 and 3 years. And, when I go to events, I make myself known and who I represent, which is the nation of gods and earths.
Peace.
Okay, well,
Hold tight. Hold tight.
I'm quite sure that
Hold on, Bobby.
in the conversation that it's not about blacks and white, because all 5% are not all black, okay, right. If I'm correct.
Right.
Okay,
That's
so
right.
what I'm trying to figure out is that in taking a stance in everything that's going on, okay, right now, I'm talking about right now, what's going on with this presidential race and everything else right now, I'm saying that how do we know, okay? How do we know in our community that we can come to your organization or any black organization and say, hey, we can get that knowledge? The knowledge that you guys are teaching, okay, it comes from the Quran and come from the Nation of Islam and stuff like that. It's not everything that anybody's going to just know unless you sit down and take a long time to get that kind of knowledge, okay? Mm-hmm. But what I'm talking about is leadership to go from this point and say leadership in organizations takes time, okay, and it takes management, and it takes people to be able to trust the fact that, hey, I'm coming to, okay, the 5%ers, I'm coming to Black Panthers, I'm coming to the NAACP, I'm coming to black organizations, okay, to help organize us, to also educate me on the things that I need to know in order to be able to prosper and survive in this new regime, okay? The white people, okay, are organizing in mass numbers, okay, against what's going on, okay, and we're taking our time getting there. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Peace. I think on a practical level, I have to say that, first step is to be seen and heard. You know what I mean? To know where you can reach your fellow brother or sister should you want that knowledge or want to add on or whatever the case may be. And to that, I say that since I've been in Richmond and, knowing of the Gods and Earths here in Richmond, we've had a parliament every third Sunday of the month, be it in the park, public place, where we're here, you know what I mean? So if you want to come amongst, and build and add on, first of all, you got to know where we are. That's where we are. In the summer months, we're at Abner Clay Park every third Sunday of the month at the Wisdom Hour. In the winter time, for the past few years, we've been at 418 East Main Street, at the Wisdom Hour on 2 o'clock at the third Sunday of the month. So that's where we are, and as far as that, when we come together, we build on all of those things. And the thing about us is that, like the God Tubar said, we're everywhere. You know what I mean? We're affiliated with different organizations. So whatever your mission is or whatever your passion is, or so to speak, you can add on however you see fit. We add on collectively with organizations. We add on individually with organizations. Whatever your passion is, you can fit in. You can get in where you fit in. The beautiful thing about this is that we're not confined to a box to say, oh, we're just with the Nation of Gods and Earths, and we're just going to do everything together. The beauty about us is that we're seen and heard everywhere, and we come and we add on with many different organizations because we know that at the end of the day, it's one common goal, and that's to get us together and organize, as you said, brother, to make some moves. So you have all these different organizations out here doing different things, and we add on to many of them, for that same common cause.
Bobby?
Well, I do appreciate that because that is key. So I will definitely make it my business to come down and build with you guys. I got one more thing before I have to roll is there's some young brothers in Richmond who got the wrong perception of 5%ers. Okay.
Yes.
Back in the day, okay, there was a 5%ers in New York City who walked around talking about the black man with God and everything. But in the same token, there was robbing, beating, and doing everything to their brothers, okay? I understand what it means to build and be in a cipher, the whole 9 yards, okay? But when I see these young guys representing, and when I hear you guys talking about, okay, there's something missing here. Because these young guys and their notions and their 5%, what they represent as 5%ers is not the positivity that I hear you guys are speaking on, okay?
Yes.
Because they almost regress back to what was going on in the 70s, okay, in New York, okay, because that wasn't a good thing. That wasn't a good representation, okay, because the people who didn't have the education of how Prince the 13th left the Nation of Islam and started. They didn't have that kind of knowledge, but yet still they were speaking from the Quran. And these young guys out here right now, there's some guys out here in Richmond, okay, who speak as they, or say they represent 5%ers. But you know what? They got that mentality that was going on in the 70s.
Right.
Send them to us.
If you can't approach them like that and talk to them, they want to beat them up. They want to jump them, and they don't know that knowledge. They beat them down in the street and stuff like that. That's worse than being a Crip or a Blood.
No, I got you.
Like the God says, send them to us. If we can't get them straight, nobody can get them straight.
And they can go ahead and let the devil get him, because the law come to get his men and the devil come to get his.
That's what's up.
And it's a process.
It was good building with you guys. Peace, brothers. Marcus, I will definitely catch up with you later this week, okay?
Yo,
Bobby,
peace. We appreciate your call.
You know where I'm going to see you, Bobby. Appreciate you, brother.
Most definitely, brother.
All right. Peace. And you know how stepping with Marcus J. Live from the Den Legacy Internet Radio. 804-402-2893 is the number to dial to be a part of the discussion. We're moving towards the latter stages of the show, and there's a couple of things that I kind of just introduced that we may not have an opportunity to really flesh out, and that just means that you got to come back. But there's something that I do want to make sure that we talk about in the limited time that we have left, and that's holidays and civic duties. I want to talk about those things. Holidays, obviously, we got one coming up this week. This time of year, I believe from November 1st to the middle of January, it's something like 25 or 30 holidays that are celebrated across all of the, as we say, mysteries, the religions. And some of them are not religious based, some of them are American based. And so I want to know what y'all doing on Thursday.
I mean, I come amongst my family, you know, and enjoy them. You know, the concept of Thanksgiving, of course, you know, the general concept,
The history
lack of
behind
better
it.
words, right? You know, I don't bear witness to that, you know, because I know the reality was it wasn't
Yeah, the history.
peace. It wasn't a peaceful dinner.
The history of Thanksgiving makes it very difficult for me to take it serious. Personally, I just know that on Thanksgiving, I'm gonna get to eat and watch football, and hopefully see my mama.
Yeah.
That's really how I do it, and she's not happy that I say it that coldly, but that's just real talk how I feel about that. But then I'm guessing because the nation of gods and earths has its foundation and origins in Islam, I'm pretty sure there's no Christmas going on.
No.
What about Kwanzaa?
Well,
Yeah, well,
Some-
we lean
some
towards
do.
Kwanzaa. Yeah, we're leaning towards Kwanzaa because,
Kwanzaa's okay.
right, because even when our Father, Allah, you know, was manifested us in this nation, He said that we can't deprive our children, right? We have to explain to them. Like in my house, you know, she knows both. My daughter, I have a daughter, and I taught her about Kwanzaa, right? And I taught her, you know what I'm saying, about the science behind Christmas. Now, getting back to Thanksgiving, that's a good time, you know, when it's family members there that, you know, I have a chance to, you know, express who I am.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They already know. No, I'm family. I'm one of them.
Are
They
you?
might say it.
Are you? And folks, don't take this the wrong way, because this is how I am. This is how I am. But are y'all the weird guy, the weird gal?
Black sheep of the family,
yeah,
definitely.
of course.
Yeah.
Still asking is that what's in those greens?
Yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
Because see, I'm you know, I don't like defining it. I used to call myself an agnostic, but now I don't like really defining it. I'm just someone who feels spiritual within myself, and I know, you know, the power within, and I just kind of leave it at that. You know what I mean? I think that we all have an innate goodness to us, and basically being an asshole is learned behavior. You know what I'm saying? And so I just usually typically try to leave it at that, and I really only go in depth when someone challenges that, because with anything you can break somebody down based upon what their belief system is, or their knowledge system, or their way of life is. If you take enough time, you can break anybody down depending on their knowledge of what kind of lifestyle they're living. Having said that, yeah, it's a challenge, because I don't want no tree in my house.
Right.
It's silly to put a tree in your house, you know.
And there's a science on the tree.
There's a science on the tree. I mean, Santa Claus was a black man, like all that stuff. Like, it's, you know, you know, Jesus wasn't born in December.
Right.
A whole bunch of things.
I mean,
right?
it's just so many ways that you can break all of that down, you know, but yet you run through, and I'm living vicariously through you. I run through the challenge of having to be authentically me, while at the same time keeping the peace with the family who may not understand my way of life.
Right.
I'm guessing that is something that you all
Yes.
live.
Right.
Someone talk to me about that.
Right, because, like, you know, I had to basically, you know, show and prove. They know I'm the one that don't eat no pig, right? And me, myself, I keep it blunt. Like, you know, I tell them, you know, the history. Like, they're pagan holidays. The holidays that we're talking about, Thanksgiving, Christmas, Easter, they're all pagan holidays. And we, you know what I'm saying? We do not know, that's not a part of our culture. We don't worship false idols. You know what I'm saying? We show and prove. Like, I let them know that the history on Thanksgiving, basically Thanksgiving was a massacre. It was a day of massacre. But see, that goes back to the 10%.
They
The
celebrate.
10% teach that to the 85%. They teach, the 10% teach the 85% of the population that God is a righteous, unseen being. You know what I'm saying? Or they teach that he's an unseen being that they won't be able to see until they die.
Yeah.
He teaches that all that up above, you know what I'm saying, comes from that mystery God.
In the clouds.
Yeah. That's what he teaches, that 85% of the population. Now, getting back to that, like, far as the devil's rule, he only ruled, like, while we gave the devil power, we gave him power over 85% because the 5% always existed.
I know I'm quick hitting. Before I go to my next point, anybody want to address that?
Definitely. That's the time for family to come together, man. I'm not gonna, come from a religious standpoint. It's a good time for family members to come together you haven't seen in a while, check people's health, see how people are doing. Also, an excellent time for group economics. You should be discussing the empowerment of your family. You should be discussing legacy, family businesses. Should be discussing how you can free each other from financial debt. Those are things that should be taking place when you come together. So what you utilize the time for, like I'm not a religious person. We don't deal with religion, and Thanksgiving. Like I said, it's just a time for us to come together, see some family, talk about some things, maybe lead to a business opportunity, lead to some other benefit, that can be, transferred to community.
Speaking of Thanksgiving, I don't mean to cut you off, but a couple of quick hits before I get you guys out of here. We talk about Thanksgiving, and I think we universally agree that none of us are fond of the creation of it, but we understand its place, and we morph it to fit our lifestyles and our ways of life. Having said that, there's certain things that are normally on the menu on Thanksgiving that many of us don't indulge in. Perfect time for us to talk about proper and wrong food. So real quick, we know we don't eat swine.
At all.
What else do we not eat?
Well, please. Well, as we teach in this nation, swine's not just pig. Swine is a bottom feeder, so a poisonous animal. So that's dealing with, So it's swines of the air, swine of the land, and swine of the sea. Shrimp,
lobster,
crabs, all shellfish.
Yep.
Fish is over 50 pounds.
Fish over 50 pounds. I never heard that one before. Fish over 50 pounds.
Over 50 pounds,
I never heard that one before. What kind of fish would be common that would fall in that class, if anybody knows?
Flounder, white. Is it white? No, tuna. Tuna. I'm not sure. I don't know about white. Tuna. Tilapia.
Definitely not tilapia. I got into it with somebody about
catfish
tilapia recently. Catfish, definitely not. What about of the air? Is there any bird that we should not be eating?
I know, people don't usually eat buzzards, but buzzards definitely, that's a scavenger.
Yeah.
So the common. So duck is okay, which is the most disgusting thing I think you could eat other than a damn pig. I can't stand duck. It's terrible. But duck would be okay. Turkey, chicken, those things would be okay.
Turkey cleaner than the chicken.
Turkey is cleaner than chicken.
Right.
Chicken is nasty as well. Okay, those are the improper foods. What are the proper foods? Is there anything specifically that we need to make sure that we eat?
Leafy green
Peas.
Also.
Peace. I'm going to keep it simple and say you need to eat some vegetables that don't have grease, oil, swine, meat, infused in them. So, when you piling up your plate, you need to pile your plate up with some vegetables of different colors, different varieties, things of that nature. That's not sopped down with butter, oil, grease, fat, things of that nature. And also, too, just common sense, drink water.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Drink water, plenty of it.
Which we've been sucking down water for the last 2 hours.
Absolutely.
I've been flushing y'all for the last 2 hours.
Some of this stuff is just simple.
Right.
It doesn't have to be extra complicated.
Right.
It's simple.
Last thing I want to hit. We know that 2 weeks ago tomorrow, the United States of America elected Donald J. Trump as their next president. As members of the Nation of Gods and Earths, do we participate in that kind of civic duty? Do we go vote? Do we do jury duty? Do we do these things?
This is the thing, and I didn't want to.
No, go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So this is the thing. I think that's one of those things, to each his own.
Okay.
You know, if you choose to participate, participate. If you don't. You know, I think it's difficult to make a sweeping type of generalization to say I don't do this, or people in the Nation of Gods and Earths, or 5%ers don't do this, or you know, we all do this. Because that's not the case. You have some people who do, you know, and who do participate, and then you have some people who opt not to. I think part of this is freedom and your freedom of choice.
And you know how stepping with Marcus J. live from the Den Legacy Internet Radio. Caller, you are the last caller of the night. What's your name? What you want to get in on?
Peace to the gods and the earths. This is Master Civilized Allah.
This is who? I'm sorry, I missed your name. What's your name?
Peace. This is Civilized. Master Civilized Allah.
Peace, Civilized.
Peace, God.
Peace, God.
What's your
Peace to
comment?
the gods. Indeed, I just want to, you know, let you know, Marcus J, that, you know, thank you for the opportunity for gods and the earths to come together at the show and, you know, build and let the listeners know, you know, who the gods and earths are. And also, you know, peace to the panel, you know, for doing a good job and explaining the history of the Nation of Gods and Earths. So my question is, you know, when he was talking about the community and group economics, you know, can the panel also add on about what does the Gods and the Earths here in Richmond, Virginia do as far as community events, you know, throughout the year? Namely, like the Region 4 Conference, you know, Children's Day, you know, let the listeners know, you know, what does the Gods and Earths do as a community, you know, and that was my question.
We appreciate you, brother. Would you, anybody want to address the brother?
Yeah. He just, you know, the things that we do in the community, like the sister had already mentioned, that we have, you know, we meet every third Sunday of the month, right? And then we also have, honor days, right? We have a family day every August, right? We have a children's day, right? We also have in February, right? We honor our Father Allah, his birthday. And on June 13th, we honor him, right? His passing, right? On June 13th every year. And that's, we all come together in Manhattan, which is, we call Mecca, right?
Medina would be Brooklyn, right?
Right, Medina would be Brooklyn, Queens would be the desert or the oasis, the Bronx is Pelon, and Staten Island is Strong Island. You know what I'm saying?
I thought that was a Wu-Tang thing.
Yeah.
Brother Civilized, thank you for checking in, brother.
Yeah, for 9 years, 9 or 10, was it 10 years maybe now? We've been doing Children's Day. Just to let you know, we also, during our Children's Day, we also had a public service. We give out school supplies. We partner with different organizations and we add on to give out school supplies so we can get the kids started back at school. And this December 23rd,
Right.
we are doing, Earth, you got that?
Indeed. December 23rd from 6 to 9, we'll be doing a spoken word event.
Open mic.
Yeah, open mic, you know, so if you have skills or whatever, you know, come out, you know, get on the mic, bless the mic. But we'll be there on December 23rd from 6 to 9 at DM Restaurant and Lounge, which is a Senegalese / Caribbean restaurant. It's at 5114 Richmond Henrico Turnpike, and that's in Richmond. So we'll be there. Gods and Earths, if you want to come out, support, build, add on, just get you some good food, you know, and just build with your brothers and sisters collectively, you know. will be there.
And there will be an admission charge of $5.
All right, brother. We appreciate you checking in. We're going to move towards the end of the show. We appreciate your support. Thank you for calling and thank you for listening.
Peace.
Peace, peace. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. Live from the Den. Legacy Internet Radio. We're going to take our final break of the night. And when we come back, we're going to have our rants and our closings. The crew knows what we're doing. We've already kind of gone through the rants and the closings for the folks that are making their debut on the flagship show of Legacy Internet Radio. So they know what we've got coming up here. And we're going to do that on the other side. Shout out to Asia Earth. She says scavengers. So she's going back to the food that we were talking about there. Our brother WB of our Sunday night show, Twi After Dark, is checking us out. He's saying peace to us. And Kimanti Shelton is saying peace to the crew as well. So thank you to the folks in social media, Facebook Live. I'm going to shut y'all down and bring y'all back up here in just a few moments. Ain't no half step on Marcus J. Live from the Den, Legacy Internet Radio, taking our final break of the night. We come back. We're going to close it out with our rants and our closings. We got a history moment, as we always do, as well as a missing child. So we got ton of show left, but we're going to rapid fire it on the way out the door. Marcus J and the crew and you be back in a few.
What's up, y'all? This is your man K-Dub, and when I'm down on 285 down in Atlanta, GA, maybe on I-64 in Newport News, Virginia, or maybe I'm in Jersey City catching that light rail headed downtown to go into NYC, I'm always plugged in to Legacy Internet Radio, listening to Ain't No Half Stepping with my man Marcus J. Check it out, y'all. Peace.
What up, everybody? It's your girl, Jody Smith, JMM, Jody Music Mixtape. It's a classic. Get at my dude, Marcus J, on Legacy Internet Radio. Ain't no half stepping. Get your own JMM mixtape. Hit me up, Jody Smith, on Facebook, Jody Music, Jody Music. Or you can hit me up on